Assalamualaikum to Madam Hadani. Today we would like to present about inflation and employment issue in United Kingdom. This is our group mate that consists of Dini Najwa Akra, Alisa Batrisha, Nur Sakina, Nur Farisha Azwalina, Malisa Izani and Diana Batrisha. Next, I will explain about the introduction. In introduction, have background of the country. The first one is United Kingdom has traditionally been a global leader with a strong emphasis on service, finance and manufacturing. Next, the post-war period saw a remarkable rise in living standard, strong economic growth and radical change in the country economy. In London, the capital city is a major financial centre and home to the London Stock Exchange, which is one of the largest stock exchange in the world. Lastly, World Bank, the United Kingdom gross domestic product, which means GDP, has recorded a gain of £3070.67 billion in 2022. This represent 1.32 percent of the world economy. The first inflation in 2018. The inflation rate of the United Kingdom in 2018 was 2.7% according to the Consumer Price Index, which means CPI measure. Next, average price of goods and services in the UK increased by 2.7% from 2017 to 2018. The inflation rate in 2018 was higher than the target of 2% set by the Bank of England, which is the central bank of the UK. Lastly, the higher demand for goods and services due to the strong economic growth and low unemployment in the UK. The second inflation issue is inflation in 2020. The inflation rate of the United Kingdom in 2020 was 0.99% according to the Consumer Price Index CPI measure in the United Kingdom. The average price of goods and services in the United Kingdom increased by 0.99% from 2019 to 2020. The inflation rate in 2020 was lower than the target of 2% set by the Bank of England. The impact of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, which caused a sharp contraction in the economic activity and demand for goods and services. The temporary reduction in the value add tax rate certain goods and services such as food, accommodation and attraction from 20% to 5%.
The last inflation issue is inflation in 2022. In October 2022, the annual rates of inflation reached a 41-year high of 7.92% before easing the subsequent months. This was mainly due to the rising cost of food and energy. This is because the crisis between Russia and Ukraine. The inflation rates of housing and energy reached to 26.6% in October, while the inflation rates for the food is to the 10.1%, the lowest since June. Some example of how inflation affect the price of goods and services in the UK in 2022 are the average price of loaf of bread increased from 1.05 pound in January to 1.32 pound in October 2022, in a total a rise of 25.7%. Next is the unemployment issue. Unemployment issue in United Kingdom can include a variety of concerns such as unemployment rates, underemployment, job quality, wage levels, and workforce skills. Officially, about 1.3 million people in the UK were unemployed in December 2022, and unemployment rates of 3.7% lower than any point since 1670s. However, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown measures on the labour market in 2020 and 2021, the unemployment rate increased to 5.1% in the late of 2020 and the highest level since 2016. And the numbers of people claiming unemployment-related benefit doubled to more than 2.6 million. Low wage growth means that the average earning of workers are not increasing as fast as the price of goods and services, which is also known as inflation.
As for the monetary policy serves as the compass guiding a nation's economic shift through the unpredictable cases of financial shifts. The Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) take charges in the United Kingdom, working towards the primary goal of maintaining stable inflation at the targeted at 2%. Inflation emerges as a critical factor. In 2018, the inflation rate surpasses the Bank of England 2% target, reaching 2.7%, attributed to the depreciation of the British pound sterling, driving up import costs. The NPC, independent in setting interest rate, aligned its policies with the government inflation target. Unemployment remains a persistent economic concern, with the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic leaving a lasting impact.
Okay, for fiscal policy, governments typically use fiscal policy to promote strong and sustainable growth and reduce poverty. Fiscal policies are the plans for government spending and the tax legislation that direct the economy. Tax rates could theoretically be changed to reduce inflationary pressures, but doing so will be politically difficult, lead to lower tax revenue for the government, and increase spending on unemployment benefits through recessions, aid in moderating the economic cycle. There are two fiscal policies that have been used, which are expansionary fiscal policy and deflationary fiscal policy. Fiscal policy influences the economy of the United Kingdom is that economic policies related to fiscal policy have an impact on aggregate demand. Fiscal policy can affect the aggregate demand in the economy, which is the total spending on goods and services by households, firms, government, and foreign sector. An economy's aggregate supply (AS) is the total output of goods and services and its factors of production are capable of producing. The following are some ways that fiscal policy can affect AS, which is raising government expenditures on R&D, public goods, healthcare, education, and other areas can boost productivity, low unit costs, and human and physical capital in the economy.
Based on the monetary and fiscal policy, the recommendation for monetary policy is refer to a policy used by the central bank to control the supply of money as an instrument, setting the interest rate that it charges bank to borrow money from it bank rate, and quantitative easing (QE), which involve buying government bond debt when investor give loan to the government to lower interest rate on saving and loan. For example, if inflation continues to rise, the bank may decide to raise interest rate to reduce demand and cool the economy. If inflation continues to rise, the bank may decide to raise interest rate to reduce demand and cool the economy. For fiscal policy, the recommendations are the government can increase the quality and efficiency of public spending by prioritizing investment. The government also can take some steps such as freezing the personal allowance and the higher rate threshold for income tax until 2026 and increasing the rate of corporation tax from 19% to 25% in 2023. These reforms are intended to make the tax system more efficient, fair, and sustainable, and to raise more revenues to fund public service and reduce borrowing, which have increased due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The conclusion is the United Kingdom is a highly developed social market economy and the sixth largest national economy in the world. The GDP growth was modest at 0.3% in the 2023 and it expected to improve moderately to 1.0% in 2024 according to the OECD. The United Kingdom government and the Bank of England have taken various measures to address the economic challenge such as providing fiscal support to households
and business, raising interest rates to curb inflation, and accelerating progress toward net zero emissions. Therefore, it is difficult to say whether the United Kingdom can solve the problem of inflation and employment in the near future. It may also depend on how the United Kingdom can cooperate with its international partners to address the common challenges and opportunities in the global economy. That's all from us.
Thank you, madam.